Welcome everybody to this 5th edition of Fireside. I'm your host Cameron Coyle, and thank you for watching today. This is the first episode of Storytime Sunday, where I'll be talking to you about a story from presidential history that was sent in from a viewer. For today's story, I'll be sharing a topic that was chosen by Evan Schwartz from Parsippany, New Jersey. Tomorrow will be his 11th birthday, so I hope that this is a good birthday present. Happy birthday, Evan. Evan suggested that I talk about the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on this episode. The Kennedy assassination on November 22nd, 1963, has had a profound effect on our nation's history, from increasing public suspicion into government investigations to the creation of the 24-hour news media. Allow me to open up to the first chapter of my storybook, entitled The Legacy of the Kennedy Assassination. "1963 was a year of change in America. Beatlemania was taking America by storm, and in August, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech on the National Mall to a crowd of 250,000 people. It was in the fall of this year that President Kennedy, a youthful and resounding popular leader preparing for a re-election bid, decided to visit Texas in the hopes of stemming partisan arguments within the Democratic Party and gain some support in a state where extremists were feeding into tensions about the administration and its policies towards race. John F. Kennedy traveled with his wife Jackie on a marathon, planning to travel to 5 Texan cities in 2 days. President Kennedy pressed the flesh with the masses, and he and the First Lady received warm acclaim everywhere they went. On November 22nd, the Kennedys arrived in Dallas. After shaking hands with well-wishers on the tarmac, the President and First Lady entered the open-top limousine carrying Governor and Mrs. John Connally. The motorcade proceeded through downtown Dallas, with onlookers flooding the sidewalks to catch a glimpse. The car turned on Elm Street, rounding the corner that sat the Texas Schoolbook Depository. It was on the 6th floor of that building where an employee, Lee Harvey Oswald, was reportedly sitting, with a rifle aimed at the head of the president. 3 shots were fired. The first missed. The second bullet went through Kennedy's throat and then entered Connally's back, resting in his thigh. The third was fatal, hitting the president on the right side of the head, reducing any chance of recovery to none. President Kennedy was pronounced dead at 1 p.m., a half hour after the shots rang out. Dallas Police Patrolman J.D. Tippit arrested Oswald and took him into custody. The killer was being transferred to the county jail when a local nightclub owner named Jack Ruby shot Oswald dead, with television cameras filming. The hope to find a true motive for Oswald's killing died with him. On November 25th, the nation mourned as Kennedy's caskets rode through the streets of Washington. Jackie and her children looked on, and the young boy John Jr. saluted his father as he passed into eternity. Kennedy's body lays resting today in Arlington National Cemetery, next to an eternal flame. In 1964, President Johnson ordered a commission, headed by Chief Justice Earl Warren and included soon-to-be President Gerald Ford, to investigate the details of the Kennedy assassination and put the initial swirlings of conspiracy to rest. They concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald had indeed acted alone in the killing, firing 3 shots at the limousine. The report helped stop the spread of conspiracies, with 87% of Americans believing the findings. However, in an age of further skepticism brought on by the release of the Pentagon Papers and the government's misleading of the public, theorists would eventually regain the ground they had lost. December 1978 found a House Select Committee on Assassinations actually concluding that there were 4 shots and multiple shooters, which only further inflamed distrust in the Warren Commission. From that point, conspiracies have arisen that have the FBI, CIA, KGB, Pentagon, Mafia, Cuba, and even Vice President Lyndon Johnson involved. There are a lot of crazy ones out there. If you search JFK assassination conspiracies, you'll find some really good stories. The main failure of the Warren Commission was to fully paint a good picture of why Oswald killed President Kennedy. Whether it was a troubled past or his communist political beliefs, we may never know what Oswald was thinking as he squeezed the trigger. But certified examinations and newly released documents of the Warren Report corroborate virtually all of its findings. Along with shifts towards further public distrust in the government and its institutions, the news media began to expand its place in our national fabric in the wake of the Kennedy assassination. At that point, radio and newspapers were the main modes of getting the daily news out to people. Kennedy's assassination, however, allowed television to take on a bigger role in terms of getting information regularly out to the people. Professor Barbie Zelzer explained the reasoning behind the change. When the Kennedy assassination occurred, she said, TV cameras were able to roll 24/7, and so what you got was an ongoing attentiveness to the event that print could not provide. We got ongoing continuous coverage of the story. This type of 24/7 medium became more and more prevalent. We are now driven by the immediacy of information in our society. The way that the media dealt with the event was in a very unifying spirit. Zelzer believes that the media could have done a better job at being a little more investigative earlier on, so conspiracy theorists didn't fill the void that was created. But in many respects, the precedents that were set during the Kennedy assassination have carried over into how the media deals with national tragedies and events today. We can find the roots of our present media situation echoing from the streets of Dallas. That is chapter 1, and that is it for this edition of Storytime Sunday. Thank you for watching this episode, and special thanks to Evan for sending in the idea. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos with anyone that would be interested in them. Send in any suggestions you have by commenting below this video, or by emailing us at the address cameron@thezacharytaylorproject.com. I feel very grateful and humbled to have seen so many people feel passionate about our series like we do. Ryan Tushar is an 8-year-old whose mom told us that he can almost name all 45 presidents. Ryan, if you're watching, send in a video of yourself naming all the presidents, and we will definitely feature it on our channel. I'm looking forward to that. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Caleb Oberfrank, who has been watching this series. We thank you all for your support. Remember, if you go to our website, www.thezacharytaylorproject.com, and go to our Zactivities page, you can print out some word searches and coloring pages. Don't hesitate to send in those to be featured as well. The next episode that I'll be putting out for Fireside will be next Friday, April 10th. I'm going to now be making one Fireside episode every week from here on out to make sure that I'm achieving other goals that I've set for myself and the project. With that said, I'll be putting out a questionnaire on our Instagram story to ask which presidents you would like me and Brendan to talk about in our next episode. Also be prepared, because we may also put out a video about our virtual UFC tournament between the presidents that wrestled. So stay tuned. Stay strong, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. It's like Nardwar.